Hey, welcome to another edition of AK Option Trader. I am the AK Option Trader, and we're here to talk about stocks, options, trades, and some money-making, profitable trades, hopefully, for all you guys. I hope you guys had a great week. We made it through another options expiration week, which was not as volatile as I expected, to be honest with you. It actually played out pretty well for me. I've been playing the Qs a lot in there and doing real well. So let's go ahead and get started on it. Here's the VIX. I'll start with the VIX. You can see all these lines I have in here. I've been trying to figure out what's going on with the VIX. It still has not broke my red zone, which I've had there, I think, for a couple weeks now. But it has bounced off of it and played in it a little bit here. But if you look on it, let's go to a 20-day. You can see a little bit what I'm looking at here. These lines here all represent kind of a bottom trend that gets broke, and when it gets broke, it drops down pretty good. So you can see here, we broke it here, had a pretty significant drop. It's rallied above it. Now, in the past ones, if you're able to see up here, so 60 days, in the past, it's done it here a little bit, okay? It didn't rally above this one once it came back up, but this one it's come up pretty significant. So I don't know if that's changing sentiment yet or not, but it is offering a support line now in here. So something we can watch for on the VIX if it turns over and drops in here. Let's see if this line holds or not. You can see here it was tested twice. Third time is when it broke down. You can see here it's tested 1, 2, 3 times. Third time it broke down. And same thing here. If you can't see it on the chart, third time here it broke down. Actually rallied back up, tested a drop, rallied back up, tried to test it, and this is when it broke through a little bit, but then it ran to our downtrend line. So there's lines all over the place here on the VIX. But in all honesty, it's not been that useful lately. But I've been watching those intraday, and I'll take a peek at them. For those of you who follow me on Twitter, I'll put a chart up intraday if I see a new play, or if I'm trying to get in a play. Just look for AK Option Trader there. All right, let's go to the Dow real quick. Let's see what we can look on the Dow and see what we can see. The Dow, probably my indices, this is the most bearish chart to me. Why? Is because this support line here, we've broken down beneath it. It seems to want to be hanging beneath it or right on it right now. I'm sure it'd be easy for it to pop back up there, but for some reason it just seems that this line, this 8309, 8310 line, is kind of holding strong. We've now closed beneath it. We're actually at the top of this candle probably. So this one, you know, if I was looking at just this chart, and obviously you can see we're turning over, I could see us dropping down to the 8,000 level or even lower. Pretty easy on the Dow. Okay, but we're obviously not using just that chart. So the NASDAQ, if you look at the NASDAQ, you can see here's my uptrend line here. 1, 2, 3 days in a row we've hit it. 2 days this is offered support at 1668 area. Now we're starting to move up this trend line here. My guess is we're probably going to have to make a little space on it before we drop beneath it. If not, it's going to have to be a pretty high volume day to break through both of these in one foul swoop there. So keep an eye on that. This is one, you know, I'd actually expect us to go up a little bit on here. Believe it or not, I'm saying that. Long term still bearish. I'm just talking about short term stuff here. I wouldn't be surprised to see us move a couple, 2, 3 days up before dropping beneath there. But however, if we do break this and this, I would be very, very bearish in the short term. Okay, and that could happen. I'm just telling you. The S&P broke through this channel, which is bearish. It held on this fib line, which is offering support, which is a little bit bullish. So it's a little bit confused right now. And I think this is one I might have had an intraday stuff going on in here. You can see we're beneath the 200 line on here, and we look like we're trending down. We got if you drew a trend line here on 30-minute chart, it looks like it'd be trending down. Like we could move up a little bit, maybe test that line. So let's pop one right here. And it's a pretty steep line, but we could come back up, test this real easy, and drop back down. So that would be, I guess you'd be a little bit bearish on the S&P, but mostly neutral. Almost a bearish engulfing candle. I don't think it's quite bearish engulfing. It's a little bit beneath it, but it's almost a bearish engulfing candle. But we are meeting our down. You can see this is the line I just drew. We're meeting our steep downtrend resistance right here. So anyway, on that note, let's jump into some stock plays real quick. I am short right now Beazer Homes, BZH, Beazer Homes. And it probably shows you better why I'm short. Well, you can look at this here. If I hide the drawings here, you can see here that we've got a inverted hammer, or a hammer if we're on the bottom. Stopping out here. We're beneath the 200. We had a nice move down. I caught that move. We had a little bit of an up move yesterday. Lost a little bit. Now we're heading back down. So I'm going to hold it a little bit. If you go to the drawings there, you can see why. And then let's put on a 60-day, and it'll better show what I'm looking at here. Coming out of this wedge, I had a little wedge formed here. We kind of broke out the bottom of it, so I'm going to hold it. We do have a 200 moving average coming into play here, but I'm going to hold it and see what happens when we hit there. I'll probably start looking at getting out of it. Okay, I am long the FAZ, F-A-Z, and this is why. You can see we're in a bit of an uptrend here on the FAZ, so I started playing it. I bought in here. I don't remember when, Wednesday or Thursday I bought in when it moved down and hit this trend line. So I'm playing the FAZ until we break this downtrend line. Originally had a stop at 550 and or this 546. That'll probably be my stop, but I may, if we do break beneath something like this, I may sell it quicker. Okay, so that's my original stop is 546 right now. It was going to be 554. I moved it because I liked the way it was moving. So watching the FAZ, we're moving this uptrend line. If it holds, I'm looking for us to pop up and at least hit this level here at 631. I could see a little stoppage there. I'll probably get out, regroup, and maybe try it again after that. But I'll be watching that 630 level pretty strong on the FAZ, okay? So let's pop back out to a year chart. Look at a couple plays we have in here. RIMM is RIM. Everybody's heard of RIM. I like this just because look at all these stinking gaps. This gap. This thing is gappy all over the place, and it's been really active, been heavily traded. You can see here we had a pretty bearish engulfing candle formed here, moved down. It's trying to rally again with a real big top wick. The 50 moving average has now crossed above the 200 moving average. Okay, so this is the shortest small. So the black lines is 200. Yeah, the red lines the 100. The orange lines. Pardon me, 150, 100, and this is 20. So we got a 20, this is 100, and then the orange one is going to be your 50. Okay, so this is the 20, it's crossed over, so that's kind of bullish for now on this. But if this thing rallies back up to here, I'd be selling it. Looks like it tested it once. I can see it tested that again, and then I drop it. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. You got a little bit of a wedge here if we were to draw them out here. So you could call this a breakout type play even. But something along those lines. But this is just one I'm really interested in just because of all the gaps. I think I'll keep an eye on it. Look for if it keeps going up here, breaks through. If it hits up in here, I'll be selling it. So that's RIM. All right, so we got a few days for that. Here's one of my old favorites. I used to trade this a lot. I haven't traded in a while. This is Shield. Back here, once it broke 55.80 on the blog, or 50.80, pardon me, on the blog, I called it a buy. It moved up great. Now I'm calling it pretty short. I'm looking for a long-term drop here, all the way back down to this trend line. I think it's really bearish. It broke some key support at this 50.80. This was my buy line right here, and you can see where it broke above it here. Boom, boom, and then drop back down and head it right back up. So now we broke the uptrend line. We broke the 200 moving average. I'm saying pretty bearish. We're looking down at this 42.50 line. So that's Shield, okay? MYGN. Let's go to that one. Myriad Genetics. This one I like because it's a nice gap. We got a wedge. If it pops out, we look for it to fill the gap, and we'd be shorting right about here, 36 line, somewhere in that area. Start looking to short. If it breaks to the downside, just hold on for the ride because it could go way down. All right, so this is, you got some support obviously in the 26.50, 27 area, and maybe 28 area, but I would say down here mostly. If not, then we're looking way down to the 25, 24 area. So just keep an eye on it. You know, it's really undecided. You can see a lot of top-bottom wicks, doji. So we don't know what it's going to do, but it's in my breakout watch list. I'm watching for a breakout on this, and I think it can make you some money if you play it to the right side. MMM, Triple N, 3M. This is one that's on the 200 moving average right now. Right beneath it, there's a fib here, and you could actually, if we wanted, we could draw a down trend line right here, and then if we use this fib loosely and this trend line, you've kind of got a descending wedge going on there. So I'd be looking for this maybe to consolidate a bit and break down beneath this. If it breaks above it, then that would be somewhat bullish. If this line holds, that would be pretty bullish. But it did break above the 200. Couldn't maintain it. It may try to break above it again, but it's going to be compressing now. This 200 is going to be moving down. It's going to offer double support with this fib and the 200. The 20 moving average has crossed up, but it has not crossed above the 200 yet. The 50 is just crossing the 100. So anyway, I'd be watching for possible short play on this one. I have time for one more. MRK. I've got a few more on the list. This one here is Merck. Got a wedge forming. You got a bearish engulfing candle. I'd be looking for this to drop to the downside. It's hitting the downtrend line. I'd be looking for it to break out and drop to the downside on this play right here. Okay, so you can see I still got a lot of bearish plays going on here. PG was the next one. I don't have time to show it to you. It's in an uptrend if you want to look at it. Maybe I'll put it on the blog or twit about it here the next day or two. So follow me on Twitter, AK Option Play. I try to put AK Option Trader, pardon me, AK Option Trader. I try to put in my plays when I enter them and when I exit them and what I'm doing. I've played the Qs a lot lately. I played the FAS for the first time, so we'll see how that works. This will be the AK Option Trading Insider.